Hello, I'm Felicia Vereen, always known as Fee.
Hey Fee, and I'm your girl Sharita 3, better known as Fred.
And we are Inspire Her, the Total Woman podcast, a new podcast all about uplifting you.
Yes.
Because friends, face it, you are awesome.
We'll be chatting up about topics we love to talk about. All the things we as women must deal with every day and the ish we complain about.
But who's listening?
Girl,
we'll chat about the struggle, the job, and about him. You know who we talking about.
Girl.
That boo, husband, boyfriend, ex, whatever you calling them today. Our lovely hellions, kids.
Our angels. But seriously, friends, life happens, and we don't always get a chance to talk about it. We take it on the chin and we keep it moving.
Because that's what we were told to do.
Yep.
But here on Inspire Her, the Total Woman podcast with Red and Fee, we are the friends you love to hang out with. We are here to inspire her, the Total Woman.
Yes.
It is time for us to create a new one, honey. We ain't new no more.
No, we said it every week, but we need to do that.
It's a new year. It's a new year, and we have been here for a year.
We have.
Can you believe it's been that long? And you went back kind of quick.
It has.
Anyway.
It has.
What's up, Red?
Hey, it's been a long day, but I am here shining good. Fooling around with our YouTube channel, just trying to get that up. So I have that live. So I looked to see, I had some comments up there myself. But now I see even if they comment on our YouTube channel, it shows up here. So that's good to know.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Well, y'all listen. I'm a little tired. I was like, I'm gonna be full of energy. I think this pollen down here is killing us.
Yeah.
It is attacking us like nobody business, and so are the bugs.
Can you believe it's March already?
I can believe it's March, but I can't believe that our summer has pretty much started. So these plants, pollen and bugs, they don't know what's going on. They like, okay, we supposed to be out now? Let's go.
Right.
They on attack.
Yeah. I didn't even wear a winter coat we've had a very mild winter. I don't remember wearing a winter coat for real. It's been warm.
Well, down here, I'm used to not having a real winter, but it 80s, 86. We're not used to those temperatures down here.
No.
Yeah.
No.
I'm not gonna look a gift horse in the mouth. I'm really not.
No, don't do that.
That's doing to the ecosystem. That's the only thing. Like, what's gonna happen? Because we're on top of good weather, we're also having bad weather. We're having tornadoes and hurricanes and rock slides and all kinds of stuff going on.
That global warming stuff.
I know, and that's scary. What we doing to our world, our planet is pretty darn scary. But anyway, we're not here to talk about global warming. We are here to talk about our title, and I it's an awesome title. I want to make sure that we get people on. We had quite a few people who said, "Oh, I'm gonna listen in." So Sharita, make sure you shared it on your page.
Absolutely.
And, it automatically goes to my page and YouTube and the Inspire Her page. But we want to make sure, because I put a message out there that said, bring your daughters, bring your college age daughters, because we want to have an intimate conversation. Look, I'm gonna pull you real close. No, not that close, but we want to figuratively pull you real close. And for those of you who will be listening to this record, we're gonna pull you real close too, because we just want to talk about some things, and I've been fighting with this video, and I wanted to play it because it's really good. So I'm gonna just play the audio, and hopefully you guys can hear it. So let me see if I can just play the audio. I'm gonna turn it up. Can you hear it?
It is said that girls with dreams become women with vision. So I want all the girls watching here and now to know that a new day is on the horizon.
We all know who
The
that
world
was.
of work has been designed by men. And now I think women have a great opportunity to change it. It's inspiring for all you guys out there that want to do something and want to be the best that you can be and want to do the best that you can do. You just never give up because you never know what can happen. You never know who you can inspire. When you see me walking, it ought to make you proud. I say it's in the reach of my arms, span of my hips, the stride of my step, the curl of my lips. I'm a woman. Phenomenal woman.
Yes.
We women, ladies, but look, I don't want to be nothing else. I don't want to come. If I had the opportunity to come back, I want to come back as a woman. You know.
Hey, it's Women's History Month too. It's
It is.
Month.
It is.
All.
This was a perfect topic for women's
Absolutely.
First Story Month.
Yes. Women's History.
We're talking about. We're going to talk about some. I know I'm going to talk about some things. Which one of us want to start? Red?
You go ahead and start.
All right. So the reason why I wanted to do this topic, she remembered who she was and the game changed because at some point in my life, I'll say that it was when I started college. I didn't know who I was. I knew what I wanted. Because I had seen it. You know, when you're young, you want the house, you want the cars, I knew I wanted that. Didn't have my mind on right with that either. But I didn't know who I was. I knew who people were telling me that I was. I knew that I was a church girl because I went to church all the time. I knew that I was a good student. I made good grades. I knew that I was a flag girl because I was in a band. I knew that I was battalion commander because I was a leader of our military at my high school. And I knew that I wanted to do something different, but exactly what that was, I ain't quite know. I went to college and I met some people and hung out with some people that I probably shouldn't have hung out with. I did some things that I probably shouldn't have done. I learned some very, very hard lessons. I dealt with some boys that I shouldn't have, that taught me some very, very hard lessons along my life, because that's the one point that I just couldn't let go, meeting them hard-headed boys that turn into hard-headed men. That ladies, learn your lesson early in life. That's all I gotta say.
You know, I think for me, turning 30 was a very difficult time. And every woman that I talk to, when they're on the cusp of that 30, it was not a good time. So probably like 29, 28, 29, 30. I remember I was in my house, my house on Bryce Lane. I had my twins. They were maybe 2 or 3, and my oldest son may have been 6 or 7. And I just remember just being so depressed. And I felt like this is not how I wanted my life to be. This is not how I designed my life to be. A single mother, struggling, just not in a relationship that I wanted, and just not feeling good about myself. I probably, I know I was depressed. That was a very difficult time for me, turning 30. And I didn't know who I was. I didn't know where I was going. I did not know what life had for me. I was not sure what I deserved. I had made mistakes. I was, a single mom with 2 kids, 2 baby daddies, whatever you want to call it. I'm like, I grew up in a 2-parent household. I'm educated. I'm college educated. I'm a homeowner and stuff. But I just felt like something was missing, and I couldn't put my hand on it. I couldn't figure out what it was that was missing for me. I just knew that I went through a tough time. And as a therapist, every woman that's in 27, 28, 29, I tell them my story. I was like, I went through the same thing. It's something that I think we women go through. And honestly, I probably would say that I really didn't know who I was until I was in my 40s. Like, in my 40s, that's when I realized who I was, what I wanted, what life had in store for me. But yeah, ladies, if you're under 30 and you're going through a tough time, life is not what you want, it's perfectly normal.
That's not abnormal, ladies. I know. And you said 30, 32 was when I had my child.
Mm-hmm.
Expecting to have a child at 32. I was I didn't have an age. I had a nice job. I had a house, car.
Mm-hmm.
And but the one thing was I wanted to be married.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to be married.
Mm-hmm.
The person that I had my child for was not a nice person.
Mm.
And another hard lesson, that I had to learn on my own. I didn't have anybody to sit me down and say, this is probably, some of the things that you need to try to do, or this is what you need to look out for.
Mm-hmm.
I do that for my daughter. This is what you need to look out for in this is what playing a game with you means. This is, these types of things. You gotta sit down, you gotta tell your young girls these things. And you're right. I left Virginia around 32, 33. And I moved to Georgia, me and my daughter. No, I had her when I left probably, I was 35 when I left. And coming down here and having that full responsibility of my child and having family there, but not, right in the vicinity. Mom moved here. I had to sit down and deal with myself, right? And I knew, like, I keep going back to this title. She remembered who she was. I had family that instilled a lot in me. Mm-hmm. I went to church. I knew God, so it wasn't that I didn't know. It was that I chose to do things that were not in my best interest. Right. And when I sat down and kind of slowed down, I realized, and I was close to 40, like you say.
Right, yeah, that's when you know.
I realized, girl, you got so much potential that you're not using. Mm-hmm. And that's when I was like, you know what? I'm not accepting BS anymore. Mm-hmm. I know what I want. Mm-hmm. I'm going to get what I want. And as far as men is concerned, if we're not going on the same path, bye-bye. Mm. I wasn't I knew what I didn't want because of what I had been through. Mm-hmm. So I knew, no, I'm not going to sit by and just let things happen as I had in the past. I'm on a route. I have to take care of me and mine. And that's when the game changed. Mm. Like, that's when life changed for me, because I had goals and I had vision boards, and I knew where I wanted to go, and I knew what I wasn't going to take no more.
Well, while life is changing for you, I'm going through the change of life over here, having a hot flash. Oh my goodness. I'm over
y'all
goodness.
Excuse her for a minute because she's having a moment online. But hey,
at least
you knew what she knew what it was.
Absolutely.
We said we were going to be intimate with you guys tonight.
Yes, Jesus.
Very, very, very intimate. But I will admit that that's when I was able to sit back. A lot of times you have to sit back, sit down, look at where your life is, and I don't want to go down that road no more.
Right.
Know what's down that road. Or I don't even want to touch that road because that's not looking right in the beginning. I promise you guys, and because I've told you instances, I can see BS coming.
Yes.
Especially when it comes to men. I can see it coming. And you just sit there and you laugh at it, but you kind of, when you know where you're going, in that sense, you can see it coming. In my life's instance, I have been able to do things I never thought I would be doing. I've written a book.
Yeah.
I've written a book and I've collaborated on 2 others. So my 3rd one is coming out next month. And it is also a heart story. And, I don't mind sharing with people anymore. I'm not embarrassed about things that happen to me in my life.
It is what it is.
It is what it is.
Motto. It is what it is. I'm not taking the funk.
I learn from it. And all in all, I know I am a good person. I provided a good life for my family, and I'll give to anybody that needs it, but don't use me. Don't try to,
Right.
You learn things. You learn a lot. If you pay attention, that's one thing. Write it down. Pay attention to everything. Paranoid. I'm not a paranoid person, but I pay attention. If I'm quiet when you're talking to me, don't think I'm not listening. I'm paying attention intensely.
Now, Fee, my ADHD kicking in. Does that say Victorious on your sweater?
I wore.
I love that.
Just because I feel like God has helped me be victorious. And then there's my little verse over here, 1 Corinthians 15:57. But thanks be to God, he gives us the victory through our Lord Jesus Christ.
I love it. I love it.
Yes, ma'am, it says victorious.
I like it. We talked about, Fee and I talk almost every morning on our way to work or whatever. She'll call me or I'll chat with her or whatever. And I think we started to discuss some painful moments that we've had in our lives and how they helped shape us to what we are today and who we are today. And sometimes, you find that pain kind of puts you into positions and spaces that help you grow and help define who you are.
Absolutely.
Yeah, being in relationships and putting up with stuff that we shouldn't put up with, feeling less than, feeling inadequate. It's just not a good feeling. But when you know who you are, like he says, and like we said, the game will change. So you definitely have to know who you are.
You have to. I tell my daughter and I tell my young cousins, in order to know who you are, you got to sit down with yourself, because sometimes you will allow, and which I did, allow people to tell me who I was, tell me what I want, tell me what I needed, tell me what I needed to do. And even though they think that they're helping you, all you need is just pure advice as a young person about the world and what you may see in the world. But no one should ever tell you who you are. Only you know that.
Yep, you and your God or whoever your higher.
And if you sit, a lot of times we don't sit with ourselves. We run, we let things happen to us.
Yep.
When you let things happen to you, you'll never figure out who you are. You got to take control.
Yeah, I know people that's always on the go, won't sit still, don't want to deal with their stuff, just always got to have a lot of people around them, always got to be gone, always have to be into something, and just as lost as I don't know what.
But you know what that is? I found out because I was like that for a minute. And I can admit recently when COVID happened, I didn't want to sit still with myself.
Mm.
I wanted to see people. I wanted to be out. That's the type of person I am anyway. But when you sit still with yourself, things in your head get louder.
Yes.
All the stuff you should have done, could have done, all of the stuff that you finally can sit down and your mind is thinking about all these things. Those are people who don't want to sit down with themselves.
Correct. Yeah, COVID changed a lot. COVID changed the way we saw things, the way we looked at things, and I don't think we're still 100% back to where it was. And maybe that's a good thing. Maybe things needed to shake up. Maybe things needed to, change. A lot of people lost a lot during COVID. A lot of people gained some things during COVID. Gained peace of mind, gained confidence in themselves. Ventured out and did something. That was positive. So,
but can you imagine how many people, if they really sat down with themselves and figured out what they wanted out of life? Could you imagine how game changing that would be for women?
Yeah, you definitely have to know your calling. A lot of people don't know, what am I here for, and they end up being in dead end jobs and just like, I know I'm not supposed to be doing this, but fear keeps a lot of people from venturing out and doing what they were called to do. Lot of fear.
Thing that I thought about, even before starting this, before we started this, I was like, well, what if nobody listens?
Mm-hmm. So
we're still gonna do it.
Right.
We're still gonna do it because it's something that we wanted to do. And look at how many people, even though we think there's people not watching, but look at how many people say, oh, I saw y'all and y'all were good. Y'all I can't. And telling us about what we talked about and how much we're helping them. I've had several people to tell me that. And if you're scared, so scared that you won't try anything, you'll never know what you can do.
What you say?
No clue.
Yeah, scared money don't win, they say.
Money don't win.
Yeah, you gotta bet on yourself. And a lot of times we don't bet on ourselves because it's somebody in your ear, and it could be you or there's somebody in your ear that's telling you this is not gonna work. This is not for you. Nobody's gonna support you. Nobody's gonna help you. Nobody's gonna do this for you. Nobody, you don't have nothing to say. You're not important. All kinds of stuff.
You have people. Now we went to an inner city school, in the inner city of Richmond, in a not so great neighborhood. But I think our teachers and those people that we relied on in that school instilled something in us that we could always go back to no matter where we were. Now, like I said, I veered off when I went to college, and I don't mind saying this because who can judge me? I used to think I didn't never want anybody to know this, but when I went off to college, I dated some people that didn't mean me any good. Not that they were bad people, but they were drug dealers, people that were into things that I should have never been associated with. And I had a mother that was she claimed when I went to college her knees went bad because she was on her knees praying for me all the time. And thank you. Thank you for that. And I had my friends who were there to kind of tap me on my shoulder and say, what you doing? Should you be doing that? But the one thing that, like I said, I keep going back to, when I remembered, it's when you don't know who you are that you have nothing to remember. You remember who you are, or somebody helps you to instill something in yourself. And that's what I want to do for young girls. For those who don't have anybody to instill anything in them. Their mom may be teaching them this is the right way to go when it's absolutely wrong. You know, when you have somebody that's instilled something in you, no matter where you go, you'll never say that you don't know what's right. You have to remember, no matter what point in life you are, if you sit down and remember who you are, you'll always come back to yourself. But sometimes we don't do that. And that's the sad part.
Right. And some of the ways, I mean, we could say, knowing who you are, but how do I know who I am? And for me, I feel like you know who you are when you trust your inner self. And a lot of times we doubt. We always say women have this sixth sense or this intuition. And a lot of times we don't listen to that inner voice that's telling us this is not good, not good for us. Knowing who you are, you start to listen to yourself. You start to trust yourself. You start to believe in yourself. You are aware of your surroundings, who you allow in your space. You get to a point now where my energy is more important to me than anything. Who I allow in my space, who I allow in my presence. It's just so, very important. And sometimes we tend to hold on to relationships, jobs, friends, longer than we should. It's like things and people, sometimes they do have expiration dates in your life.
Absolutely.
They have expiration dates. Relationships, when you tend to have more sad days than happy days, or, you're not doing anything for yourself. It's, as a therapist, I see so many women that they're so stuck on being a mother, a wife, or whatever, that they forget all about themselves. And I push it constantly. What are you doing for you? You doing something for you does not take away from you being this person. But a lot of times women that have been married for years and housewives and stuff, a lot of times they don't know who they are. And they step out.
I agree with that. People, we talked about this as far as friends. I truly believe that saying, people are there for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. Sometimes you meet people, like I met this young lady, and I think she's there. I think she was there for a reason. But I met this young lady during COVID, and I needed that person. And we had so much fun together, but she didn't have family here, so she moved back with her family, and we still keep in touch, but not as much. But I think we helped each other get through that moment in life, so that may have been that season that we needed for a reason. And I have my friends that's been there, and I think you're gonna be there for a lifetime. And my family, my family are my friends as well, my cousins and stuff. But there are people that's gonna be there for a season, a reason. That's it. And we don't know how to let people go a lot of times. Hold on. Well, why she don't want to be my friend no more? I don't ask that question anymore, because you're showing me that you don't want to be my friend. I'm gonna listen.
Right.
You're not meant for me. You're not my lifetime person, and that's okay.
Yep. That's that expiration date.
And once you get to that point, your stress levels come. My stress levels. I don't worry about what people say.
Right.
If it's not affecting my life, I don't worry about what people do. if it's not affecting my life.
Mm-hmm.
Now my friends, if something happens, then of course I'm gonna call y'all and say, hey, what's going on? You know, but everybody is not meant for you to stress about.
Right.
And that's just a given.
And you know, holding on to stuff and people, you know, longer than that shelf life or the expiration date, it always comes to bite you in the butt.
It does.
It
It
comes
does.
back to bite you in the butt.
And
But
bigger than you ever imagined.
yes, because you're not listening, you're not heeding the warnings. Is as clear as the day. Is written on the wall, but we choose to ignore it because it's comfortable, it's familiar, it feels good, and we just don't let stuff go.
We don't, and you have to. You really, really, really have to. But as far as when, like we said, when the game change part, that's when you start to see sometimes all the things that you could be doing. Like I never thought I'd be writing books.
Yeah, right.
I thought I'd be writing books because I was so focused on other stuff that was flooding, you know, my creative spots.
Right.
So when I wrote the first book, Rock Your Money, and you know, people told me how good they thought it was, I was like, wow.
Mm-hmm.
You know, wow. I can act, I'm an author.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, when I sat down and I saw who I could be, man, people saw a change in me. You know, I've never been the person to be down on myself, but I had moments where I would come in the house and say, man, what am I supposed to be doing right now?
Mm-hmm.
And when you figure that out, man, what when you became a business owner, I was like, wow, Sharita is doing her daggone thing.
And it's funny because sometimes it still like amazes me, and I don't think of it like that. I just feel like that's my job. You know, I look at it as this is my job. I guess I don't really see it as like you're an entrepreneur. You own, you know, you own your own business or whatever. But what
That's your job, baby. That's your own business.
yeah, and it's amazing. But one thing we always joke about, Fee, is how my life seems to pattern after yours.
I know. I'm like, what in the world? Okay, now let me think about what I'm gonna get myself into next. Because Sharita might not be good at this.
Yes, the good, the bad, and the ugly.
It's one thing that I can say, with having a friend that's going through some of the things that you have gone through, you have somebody to talk to you and tell you that, like, grass is still green on this other side.
Right.
You just gotta get over here. Life is still good. You go through your valley. Life is still good on this other side. When you have somebody that can help you understand that, you go through a little bit easier. I feel you have somebody that's saying all is not lost. Life is not done because you're going through a situation, or you know, for me, when I had my daughter, because in my mind I wasn't going to have a child before I got married. That wasn't gonna happen, you know. And when it did, I was down on myself. I really was. I really was down on myself. But my friends and my family let me know that why? You can take care of her, you can do your thing. And if her father chooses not to be a part of that, then okay.
That's on him. Yeah.
That's all on him. And now, you know, India has a father. She has a man that is not her biological father, but he chose to be a father for her. I think that's something to say.
Right.
So You
And my
know,
daughter has that too, because her father was in and out and, not consistent. Yeah, not consistent, in and out of her life, or constantly letting her down, her and her brother down. And then my husband, he came along and just pretty much adopted her. That's his daughter, and she sees him as her father, and he loves her. He shows her that she's valued and that she's worthy, because I felt like my daughter struggled with her self-esteem and her. She's beautiful and the sweetest person. I tell her all the time, you're probably one of my favorite people in this whole world. But because you didn't have that love that you desired, I don't know that, because my daddy loved me and I loved my daddy. That was my first love. But when you don't have that and it's missing, it just makes you feel like, I'm not good enough. What did I do wrong? Or why wasn't I enough? And those kids, and they grow up to be adults that are overachievers with the abandonment issues. Always can't celebrate this because they're always looking to the next thing. But just and we both dealt with that, just kind of being supportive to our kids, or daughters especially, that didn't have that father, seeking it from other boys and men, that it's just not
any good.
Nope.
Now, and we have a couple people online
Hey, Paige.
say this, if Red and I said that we would give our audience an opportunity, if you wanted to come online and talk to us about when you got to that point where the game changed for you, when you decided you weren't going to take no more mess, you were going to do things your way. Life just seemed to get a little easier.
Mm-hmm.
I do feel like that. Life has gotten a little easier because I just things that I don't even look at no more.
Right.
That I used to, things that I don't even worry about. I'm not gonna worry about that. That's your issue. I used to take on too many people's issues.
People pleaser. Take
on other people's issues. When I got to the point where I was like,
nope,
that's not my issue.
Nope.
And what I saw in you, and I'm gonna say this. When I came to stay with you that time, my friend, y'all, let me just say this caveat. My friend rolled out the red carpet for me. I'm just gonna say that. All I had to do was get there. I had a mini mansion to stay in. I drove a Mercedes while I was there. And I'm like, oh my God, my friend is really doing her thing. And it wasn't about any of the material stuff. It was when I saw her, she appeared to be this person that knew where she wanted to go. Not to say that we don't have our little ups and downs, because we always have that. The vice president of the United States has that. Oprah, whoever we look at, we say, oh, they got it all together. We all have that. That is absolutely life. But she appeared to have her head on straight, know where she was going, know what she wanted, and she was living in that life. And I told you, I was like, proud of you. And that's what we need to tell our friends when we see them doing what we know that they want to do. Tell them. Tell your friends. I still tell my mama, "You doing good, ma." About to be 72 years old. But sometimes we have to give each other a pat on the back so that that inner person, we still want to be accepted. We still want people to know, to see that we're doing good. And I think it's worth it. And like I said, I still think, you're doing your thing. You're doing your thing.
Right. And I think what's important, and my pastor always preaches this: reach down and grab somebody and bring them up with you. If God blesses you with this talent, this treasure, whatever, it's meant for you to share, because God got more of everything. So pull somebody up and help them. And that's what I try to strive for. I try to help the next person. People that work with me, I don't say they work for me. You work with me. People that work with me, I don't expect for them to be there forever, but I'm going to help you get to the next step and bring in a fresh crew to get them trained and getting them moving on to get their own and doing what they need to do. And that's what it's about. And I think that's why, I hope that, or one of the reasons why God continues to bless me, because he knows, and I'm doing it from my heart, bringing other people up and supporting other people. And that's what it's about.
And that's a good thing. It's always a good thing to help people, get to where they need to be. I used to when I used to work at Gulfstream, they used to tell me, "Oh, you don't train a person as good as you because then they can take your place." I never thought about things like that. I want somebody to know as much as me so that when I go on vacation, they can do my job.
Exactly. They won't be calling me. You already know what to do.
Calling me. You're doing it as good as I do, or better. You won't be calling me. But
right. And what's for you is for you.
And that's just it.
Mm-hmm.
You know who you are. You're not out here running after everything. Everything ain't for me.
Nope.
Oh goodness, well, one girl, she called me. She said, "You know what?" She said, y'all could start a ladies group, And I'm like, "Yeah, but that's not quite what we want to do. That's not quite for us right now. I'm not saying never, but that's not quite for us right now. What we want to do is get on here and talk. We literally are just talking like we talk on the phone in the morning about stuff. And that's how this started. We're like, somebody needs to hear this stuff.
Right.
And we tried it and people liked it. So we're doing it.
Right.
And it's interesting, the things that we see, the things that we talk about, the things that people send us messages about, other podcasts that we have been a part of. It's all, this podcast is actually a game change for us, because who would have known that we would have been on here, on social media, on YouTube, actually talking about stuff like this?
Nobody. I think it's growth. Taking a chance and taking that risk and just trying to grow. We're trying to be better people. We're striving every day to be better people.
And that's just it. I know I wanted to give some tips. And I think we've given them. We just need to go back and reiterate them. One, I think no matter what, sit down with yourself and understand what you want out of life.
Right.
Even if you got to write 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, what you really, really want out of life. Not what somebody's told you want. Because, everybody, when you grow up, you'll get a job. Go to school, go to college, get a job, buy a house. Somebody's told you. Maybe you don't want to go to college. Everybody doesn't go to college now. Some people are smart enough to create a business as a teenager. There's a teenager here in Savannah. He paints sneakers for people. I would have never thought that would be a full-time career. But he's ventured into so many things from that, which is crazy.
He has an entrepreneur spirit.
He does. And he's created a whole business. Maybe you don't want to buy a house. If you're in New York City, 9 times out of 10, you're probably not going to buy a house. That be something that somebody told you that you should look forward to. That may not be it. Maybe you don't want to have kids. There's nothing wrong with that. Know what you want to do. Second, well, let me reiterate that. First, know who you are. Second, know what you want to do. First, know who you are. A lot of times, we grow up to, we're even as grown women, we still following people.
That's
You don't,
sad.
know why, you don't know why you did that.
Wow.
Somebody asked you to come out and hang out with them, and now you doing something you had never done before.
Well, that
And
would be because I'd be in the bed by 8 o'clock.
oh, we know. We know. So know who you are. Know what you will and you won't accept.
Mm-hmm.
Even as a teenager, if we got some young people listening, teenagers, 20-year-olds, know what you will and will not accept. And say no.
Mm.
Look at Peggy laughing at you. We know you'll be in the bed early.
Mm-hmm. But
Know
you
what
know,
you will and accept. Like we couldn't get you to stay out past your bedtime. You was like, I'm going to bed.
Nope. I'm independent. You know, I had 5 brothers and sisters. It was 6 of us. So you had to have that independence. You were only child. You know, Peggy was the only child. So then Candy was the only child. You know, with several of y'all that were the only child. I was one that came with a big family. So you had to be independent. You had to kind of find your way to fit in, you know, just it was something special. You know, one thing I always give a shout out to my mom. She made sure that we knew that we were loved. We knew that we were supported. You know, my mom and dad, they made sure that they supported us, that they assured us that they quit telling their business, that they made us feel like we were special.
Right.
And we knew who we were because our parents instilled that in us, that confidence, that love, that support. And that's important. And a lot of parents don't always do that. Sometimes they don't know how to show that affection or know how to show their kids how they love them. They demonstrate it by making sure that your basic needs are met, but sometimes that affection is missing. But we had that. So I just thank my mom for that.
Say that I got that from, and y'all know what I'm gonna say. I got that from my grandmother.
Mm-hmm.
My grandmother died when I was 14, and I think I told somebody this last week. In those 14 years, I guess up until I was old enough to recognize that what I was getting. So maybe 4, 5, 6, maybe. So out of those years, I think I got so much love in those years that I recognize, you know, what it should look like.
Mm-hmm.
And I only had her for that little bit of time, but it was overwhelming how much I saw in that little bit of time. Now my mother type, she's gonna show you about what she do. When I told her I needed her to move here from Virginia,
she was on it.
She was on the Next Thing Smoking. And she's always supported me. She's always supported me and worked 2, 3 jobs so I could have what I needed. She always was that, just like Peggy said, she was that coddled me. My whole family did. And my dad was that person that showed me, he would take me to the museums and take me to places I'd never been before to show me what's out there outside of Highland Park in Richmond, Virginia. He was that person that gave me that eye out there to see, you know, what I could be. I don't know. I guess, you know, something caught on for all of us because all of our group, we're doing amazing things. You know, I would say all of us. But like I said, we all had our little mountains and hills to climb, but we succeeded. We all succeeded. And like you said, the magic number might have been less or more for others, but right around 40, that was when I feel like the lights came on. And then that age that we just celebrated, woo, baby. It was like I woke up and something changed. Something clicked. It was like, oh no. done with that, done with this.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Clear where I want to go in my life.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when the game changed. I
Right.
love that. She remembered who she was. Like, we already knew who we were. I knew I was a church girl. Y'all knew I was a church girl. I lived in church. But I remember who I was, and the game changed. You stop accepting things. You just stop.
Mm-hmm.
And you start living. You start living in that image that you know that you can be.
Yep. I agree.
That's something. And that's why I wanted to do this topic, because we don't talk about it that much.
Mm-mm.
We don't talk about when life changed for us, when we start doing things that we know were instilled in us, things that coming to levels that we knew we could get to.
Yeah.
Managing to be the person that everybody else knew that we could be.
Right. Or that somebody was praying for us to be.
Somebody was praying.
Mm-hmm.
I'm happy. I'm satisfied.
Mm-hmm.
I'm good. And I know that I have more to do. Now, I think for me, the more to do is to help other people as well. People that I see, that I know. Imagine somebody coming to you or saying, I see this in you, or I see that in you. I know you could be this. You could be anything that you want to be. Imagine saying that to a little girl who just got abused at home, or a little boy who was feeling like he ain't good for nothing because somebody done told him he wasn't good for nothing. Imagine that. Imagine how good that would make that person feel, even if they got to go back to a hostile environment, but they have that one person that believes in them.
Mm-hmm. It makes a difference. It makes a difference.
And I know it does. So if whoever's listening and whoever will be listening on the replay, if you have that person that you see every day, some kid down the street, or in one thing that you can say to that person can make them feel like they have somebody in that corner, do it. You never know what you say to someone that can make them feel like, oh man, that just made my day.
Mm-hmm.
You never know. And it might not be a child, it might be a grown person.
That's true.
It might be an older person that doesn't have any family around, just by going and talking to them. You just never know what you can lend to another person from yourself to make them feel great.
Yeah.
I know my
who was that person that you had in your life that you looked up to, or persons that you looked up to, that you modeled yourself, that was a good role model?
I had quite a few.
Mm-hmm.
I had my grandmother, my mother, my aunt, my aunts on my mom's side.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll say my mom's mom as well, even though we weren't as close as I would have liked us to be. But she had 11 kids.
Grandma was working at Washington.
And my grandfather died at an early age, so she had to raise all them kids. And she did it. And all of my aunts and uncles had great jobs and great lives, and they did some great things. I couldn't imagine me raising 11 kids. It's like, wow.
3 was hard.
And she was very, very, very humble. Very humble. I mean, you had to tell her that she looked good. Like she would think that she had on rags that didn't compare to what somebody else had on. And it was just like, Grandma, do you understand what you have done in your life?
Right.
We don't, a lot of times we are our own worst enemy.
We are. We
don't see what other people see.
Yeah.
And sometimes you have to have somebody to pull you to the side to say, oh my God, you're doing awesome. And I want to take a minute right now to say that to somebody that's listening. My girlfriend, Becky. She had to take a time in her life. Hey, she had
already told me quit telling her business.
I don't care. She can be mad at me if she wants to. And I'm gonna say it.
Girl, that's our glue.
I am proud of her. She is doing her thing. And
she's our elder. She's our elder.
Leave her alone. She's able to still live her life and be a caregiver and handle it all. I know, we have our moments, but I want to commend her because she is doing her thing and keeping it all together. And I commend her. Right. And she still get us together.
She does. She does.
She still get us together. Like I said, when you know who you are, things change.
Things change. It's been no nonsense.
Yeah, she was the leader. She was the leader of our gang.
She is still the leader of our gang. She's our elder. She's the leader.
Aggie, I ain't say nothing about you being the elder.
She is our leader.
I ain't say nothing about you being the elder. That was already. But yeah, I'm proud of all of our friends.
Me too.
Proud. We did the daggone thing, man.
We did.
We are all